Hey guys, momentaijankguy bringing you a very special video and exciting video that I'm super excited for. It's going to be the beta kit on the Gundam TCG card game. This is not mine. I am borrowing this from a friend. He let me borrow it. The big shout out to my friend Miguel for letting me use this for this video, or else this video would not be possible. I'm very excited for this game. Like I said before, it's very simple to play in my opinion. There is two difficult parts, that's it, that I would say for this game. But if you have played Digimon, if you have played or the One Piece card game, Union Arena, the Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, you will have a very easy time understanding this card game. I'll just open the box to show you like how it looks on the inside. It's nothing too crazy. It gives you like a little playmat, a little directions, cards. Because when you get it, it gives you 16 packs. So if you're able to get into your locals, into into their event, hopefully you guys can. So we're gonna get started with the 5 cards that are in the deck, that are in the game. So you have regular units, so you have the level and you have a cost. I'll get to that in just later on. This is also a unit, but like it has like a deploy effect. Deploy for the game means like when it enters the field, when you play this card, that's what deploy is. You have command cards like this, which are your event cards, your option cards, your spell cards. You have bases, which is like your way to like stay alive, and then you have pilots. So those are the 5 different types of cards. I'll get to them in a bit, because if you notice, there are 2 numbers. I'll get to that right now. So when you start the game, you have to have an EX base. This is the first one you get. It has to be in the front over here. It has 3 health. So the left is power and the right is health, or in this game it's called AP. Which is ability power or attack power, whichever way you want to call it. And you get 10 of these. These are your resources. This is how you play cards. So we're gonna shuffle the deck. I'll explain that in just a bit. So let's say we are going second. So it's 5 cards, and so let's say this hand's pretty bad. So, to mulligan in this game, you bottom deck your hand. This is the Union Arena, basically mulligan. You'll draw 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you shuffle your deck. And if you guys haven't noticed, the RXO Unicorn Destroyer Gundam is my favorite. And after you draw your cards, you play 6 life. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the base goes on top. So in order for for the opponent to hit your life, they have to destroy your base. And so the base, it acts like a unit, essentially, that can't attack or anything, but sometimes they can have skills, like do actions and stuff. So let's say the opponent has a unit that has like 4 power. They can swing at this, they blow it up on 1 hit. But then they have to hit you 6 times and then 1 more time in order to win the game. So they have to hit you 7 times. So just like Digimon and One Piece, when you have 0 life, they still have to hit you 1 more time. I'm gonna move the Gundam guy out of the way, put this over here. Okay, so we're going second. Okay, so if we go second, we do get this. We get an EX resource, which is an additional resource that you get for going second. So this goes onto your field when you start the game. So draw for turn, and every time the phases goes is active phase, you draw, and then you get a resource card. So you get 1 resource card, sort of like Dawn for One Piece, but you only get 1 at a time. So the game can be a little slow. You get 1 at a time, and each resource you have is considered you being a level. So right now I'm level 2 because I got the free resource of going second, and I have the regular resource. If I didn't have the EX resource, I would only be level 1. So with the levels, every card here has a level. So my hand is pretty bad right now because I can't play anything. So even though I can pay 2 to play this, I can't play this unless I'm level 3. So on the next turn, I can play the card, because then I will be at level 3. And so I'll go over like a little flow of the game. So I draw that they haven't, and no, in this game, if you go first, you do draw for turn. So let's draw, get 1. I keep wanting to put 2 for One Piece. And so let's, for 2, We'll play this card, has deploy. Deploy means when it enters the field. And this one does have a cool keyword. It has a keyword called high maneuver. High maneuver basically means you choose one of your white base team units. It gains high maneuver. So what white base team is? So right there in the brackets, it is the trait. So it has Earth Federation, white base team. A lot of cards are going to have it. Some cards are not going to have it. And on the bottom is the link pair that you can put on it to basically give it rush. So for instance, let me step it in. I don't have it in hand. Okay. So we have Amoral Array, has burst. Burst is effect that activates only in life. If they hit it in life, you reveal it, and then you can choose to activate it. If you don't choose to activate the burst, it goes to your trash instead. So this one goes to your hand. And so right here it says Earth Federation white base team new type. So right here, how it says white base team trait, it does have it right here. And that's one of the pairs you can do for it. And so there are two different things. So this is considered a link pair because I am meeting the requirement for the black tech box, right? The black text box right there, white base team trait, which is right there. And compared to, let me search for the card really quick just so I can show you guys. I don't know how many are in this deck. That's not it. There we go. Like this is for instance, it requires char editable. This is char editable. So you can link a pilot to any unit. It does not have to be the correct pilot. But for some situations you won't get bonus effects. So let's say I want to put it here. It's gonna get an additional +1/+1, so this will be a 4/3. And so like the first effect says this. During your turn, this unit gets +1 AP, so it gets +1 power, but it has additional effect, and if it is a link unit, it gains high maneuver. Like I said before, high maneuver means it can't be blocked. So when you're like this is considered a pair. But if you have the correct pilot underneath, like the correct Gundam in the black text right here, it is considered a link pair. That is the only time the link keyword will be relevant, when you have the correct unit. And also, when you have a link pair, the card will have rush the turn it comes into play, which means you can attack with it the turn it comes in, which is very, very strong. So just know that. Pair and link pair. That's going to be, in my opinion, the most confusing part to learn. Because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I can do it. It's like, oh, it has rush, but no, it doesn't have rush. It has to be a link pair. So pair and link pair. And so damage in this game, so if you notice, like they all have a toughness. Like this is a 3/2. This is also a 3/2. So damage in this game does not fall off. So unlike just like Magic and Hearthstone, damage will stick. It'll stay. So for instance, let's say this was rested and I attacked into it, and this attacked into me. This unit would die, but it will still do 3 damage to this, leaving this at 2 HP for the Wing Gundam. And the damage will stay, and there are cards in the game where like you can remove damage, like this one for instance, Kai's Resolve. Choose one friendly unit, it recovers 3 HP. And so so this is a command. So you see how it says main? You can only use this during your main phase. So it's just like One Piece and Digimon, where you can attack, it goes back to your main. You can attack, it goes back to your main. You can play a card, it's still your main. It's active phase, main phase, end step, and then there's an action phase at the end step. So there are command cards that do have active on their thing. So right here, sometimes it'll say main/active, which means you could do it during the main phase or the action phase. I'll get to the action phase in just a bit because it is a little weird. And another thing too. So this is also a pilot as well. So it says right here at the bottom left, pilot. So you can use this as a command, or you can use it as a pilot. A thing to know about pilots cannot be put on the field just because. So let's say I have Chaz, Char in my hand. I can't pay 1 and just put him on the field. Because it's 1, it's not illegal play, and 2, you can't do that. You have to be able to put it under a unit. And so we're gonna get into the second, aside from the pairing and link, the most complicated step is probably gonna be the action phase. So, for instance, let's say if my opponent, let me see if there's a blocker in this deck. I don't think there is. Let's just use this, sure. So, let's say, or even if they don't have a blocker. So, let's say my opponent is swinging at me, and they're swinging at my base. So the timing for this is, so you attack, you finish when attacking any effects that you have, and then it goes to the blocker step. Even if you don't have blockers, there's still a blocker step. You choose not to block, and then it goes to the action step. And the action step is when you can play cards that say this. Let me see if I can find one really quick. Nope, that's not it. This one. Okay. So this says main/action, which means you could do this during your main phase or your action phase. So we're in the action phase. My opponent attacked. I declare no blocks. I have no blocks, and then it goes to the action phase. So you still have to meet the level requirement and the cost in order to play the card. So even right now, let's say I'm a level 3, I cannot play this card because I have to be at level 4 or higher. And so when you use an action, you do the effect, and then after that you pass the action step over to the opponent, and the opponent has the chance to play an action. So let's say they chose not to play an action. The action step goes back to you, and then you have the ability to play a second action, and then it goes back to the opponent to play another action. So the action step can go back and forth as much as it wants, as long as there is an action to play. You can't be like, I'm gonna pass, because it doesn't work that way. And then after the action step finishes, then damage occurs. And so this only has 1 damage on it, which means I would just put like 1 damage counter on my base because it didn't die. Same thing too. If I attack them, they have a blocker. They can take care of blocks, and then it's the action step, and then you go back and forth until both of you guys decide to play no more actions, or nobody has actions to play. It is still a phase you have to go through. You cannot skip it. It's in every attack, because even if there's nothing in there, you have to go attack. You have to blocks. No, cool beans. Even if you block, action phase. Do you have an action to play? No. All right. Then damage continues. And so, like I said, and so that is like the main mechanic of the game. It's you can swing. Cards that summon a sickness, the turn they come into play. Cards cannot attack characters that are inactive. They have to attack them and rested, just like One Piece and Digimon, unless you specifically have a card that says you can attack cards inactive. Like, for instance, there is I think I just passed it, or not passed it, but is it in my hand? Let me check here really quick. It might be in my hand. This one right here. So Wing Gundam, he specifically says, this unit may choose an active unit that is level 4 or lower as its attack target. This specifically says you can attack active cards. And so if you notice, he has a keyword called breach. So breach means when you destroy a unit in battle, even if you crash and die, you still get the breach trigger. So let's say, for instance, I have this one. So they blew this one up. I played another base. A majority of the base will have the effect on play. You add the top card of your life to the hand. So let's say this is rested, and I have this out, and I swing at my opponent's character, and it dies. Breach 5, or whatever the breach number is, means that's how much damage it's going to deal to their base. So since this is breach 5, this will automatically deal 5 damage to the base and automatically kill it. And another thing to know about breach is that when you kill a unit in battle, you still deal 1 damage to them, which is the cool part. So you can clear a board and still ping them for damage. So it's piercing, like Digimon. There's another command card. It's Pot of Greed. Main, draw 2 cards. Have to be level 4 and have to pay 3 in order to play this card. And if you notice, look, it only says main, so you can only do it on your main. So let's get to the end step. So the end step, there is an additional phase, is the action phase. So you can go turn everything active, start a turn, draw a card, get a resource, you played some cards out. Let's just play, you played something really small like that. And then it goes to the end step, and then after the end step, there is the action step, which is another thing too for actions. At the action step, you'd be like, okay, at the action step at the end of turn, I'm going to do this to bounce back your units or something. And so yeah, so again, like for instance, first life has a burst. This burst effect is you get to get an EX resource. So a thing about the EX resources, I don't remember if the first one you get, if you go second counts, but you are only allowed to get 5 resources in a game. So there are cards in the game, like this one for instance, where it says you get an EX resource. You can only get 5 max in the game. So even if you use them, they get removed from the game. Even if you get more resources, you play more cards that say, hey, I get to get 10 resources. You can only get 5 at the max. So at the max, like end game stuff, you could potentially have 15 resources to work with. But remember, the limit is 5. So even if you play cards like oh, deploy, you get a resource, deploy, you get a resource, deploy, you get a resource, you can't go past 5. Like you can still play the card, but the effect won't do anything. And so you just swing, and swing, and then you have to do 1 more hit when they have no life. And so the board state is you can only have 6 units. So sort of like One Piece where you can have 5, but this one you can have 6. And so you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so let's say I wanted to, this unit, it's not a unit, that's a unit here. Perfect, okay. So let's say you wanted to play a 7th unit card. So just like One Piece and Digimon, you choose one of your cards to kill off and to play it. Remember, cards can't attack the turn to come in unless they are linked pair. So remember, there's paired, and then there's link pair. Like for instance, let's say I just played this, and I pay the cost, the 1 to pair this. I can attack when the turn it comes in because it's specifying a war array. And this card also has an effect when paired with a white-based team pilot. You get to draw 1 card. So very cool. And this one also has when paired, choose one of your enemy units with 5 or less HP and rest it. So yeah, so like I can do this. This is just a pair, which means you would still get the effect for the Amara Array. But this is a link pair because it specifically says it in the black box. So that means it also gets rushed and you can attack with it. So that is basically the fundamentals of the game. It's pretty simple. Hopefully I explained it in an okay way. I know I probably budgeted it in a few areas. But I'll go over the start phase again. So you draw 5 cards. Let's say you don't like the hand. You to mulligan, you bottom deck. You draw 5. After you draw your 5, you play 6 life. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Your base goes on top. And that is how you start the game. So this is your hand. It's an okay hand. Not really. It's pretty bad. Let's say you go first. You draw for turn still. And you get 1 resource. You are at level 1. You pass the turn. You can't play anything. Alright. You draw again for your second turn. You draw, you get a resource. You are now level 2. You can now play cards that are level 2 and lower. So I think I have a level 2 in here. Right here is going to be the gun tank. It's a level 2 and only costs 1. Pay 1, rest, and deploy it. And vice versa. Let's say the opponent hits you, they did 2 damage to it somehow on their second turn. Took 2 damage. It only has one life left. So we're gonna draw for turn. Get a resource. So like for instance, this card for example, it's a level 5. Only costs 3, but I can't play it because I'm not a level 5 or higher yet. But what we can play is Charge Zaga 2. Pay 3, put it onto the field, and let's say you want to get a little chump damage into their base. You can tap, swing. Okay, when I swing, let's say the opponent, you ask the opponent, do you have any blocks? No blocks. Then it goes to the action step. The action step, let's say they choose to play a card and bounces back to my hand. The attack fizzles because the unit is no longer there, so there was no more damage to be connected. But then let's say there is no actions between both players. You then deal the 1 damage to the base or to the unit that you're attacking. Another nice thing to know about bases is that let's say that base had 2. Let's say this base had 2 damage on it. Okay, damage does not stick. So, for instance, we draw for turn. We'll be at level 4. They hit us once, does nothing, goes to trash. So to play the base, you just pay the cost like a regular unit. And the majority of bases have the effect to add the top card of your life to your hand. And now in order for them to hit your life, they have to break this other base, and vice versa. So the more bases you draw, the higher your survivability to live in the game is there. Blocking is just like every other like bandit card game. When you block, you suspend it to redirect the attack to the target that chose the block. And yeah, I believe that's everything. It's very simple. I wish I had some gameplay to show you guys, show you how easy it is. The only thing about this game is that I wish they had a game mechanic like Unit Arena where you were able to like draw cards, because there is not a lot of drawing. In here, like there are cards that like draw 2 cards, then discard 1, and there's just draw 2 cards in general. But like if you don't draw those cards, it's just drawing 1 card a turn. Or you can try to play a lot of stages to add life to your hand, which is also basically drawing. But yeah, game it's 50 cards. The ratios, I think it's like 26 to 28 units, 6 to 8 pilots, but I think you should run more pilots depending on like what your build is. Like 6 to 10 command cards, and then like 6 to 8 not 6 to 8, like 4 to 6 bases, or you can run more bases. That's like the generic like ratios for a deck. I didn't make these decks. My friend Miguel did. He let me borrow it. I'm very, very thankful for that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully this helps you guys with your beta pre-release that's coming out at your locals, and hopefully you got in it. But yeah, this is the Gundam TCG. I hope you guys are excited for it as much as I am, and I will see you guys next time.